All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. Just want to give a quick update and have a very quick conversation about what's happening um, in the world economy and what's happening with just overall the overall crypto sentiment in space. So first and foremost, we know that there's only 21 million Bitcoin. We all got it. And there seems to be a great divide, right? There's a divide between people who are Bitcoin maximalists and then people who are into gold and hard assets. There's also a middle ground in which, you know, whether you're altcoins, whether it's precious metals, whatever you're diversifying into, there's a lot of debate and a lot of concern about what's happening because here in the United States of America, obviously our debt is growing. We're going to have to do something with the amount of debt we have accrued. And unfortunately, the things that have been done with Doge to save money, they probably have saved money, but it hasn't really put a dent and won't ever put a dent in what we're calling or what is the debt. And the debt ceiling just is going to keep on rising. Okay, so that's all out of the way. So what's happening here? So first off, we see that Bitcoin is making a not really a comeback, but it's kind of really doing what it's been doing for the last, I don't know, umpteenth years. I think 14, 15 years, in which has been pretty much just going up. And we have so many people out there talking about, oh, well, it's going to go to zero, and what happens when it goes to zero. And if you have that type of mindset about Bitcoin going to zero, you really honestly have not paid attention, or you have a bias against Bitcoin. Now, I'm in the middle of the camp. I don't hate Bitcoin. I see it for what it is, and it is an alternative currency to the fiat currency that is failing. We all know that the fiat currency is failing, especially other parts of the world has felt it harder than those of us here in the United States, but we know that it's coming. And what we're trying to do, a lot of people who are into Bitcoin, is say, hey, well, where else can we put our money? What can we do, right? So we all know that we can do stocks, which over time, over a period of 25 to 30 years, you probably may have something that you can retire with. You can, uh, you know, people will have their 401ks and they do things with bonds and precious metals such as gold. But if you look at it um, from a if excuse me, if you look at it from a bird's eye point of view, or if you zoom out, you'll fully understand that a lot of people are recognizing that they really don't have the time, right? So if you put if younger kids today put their money into stocks and bonds and gold, eventually, yeah, 20 or 30 or 40 years, you'll be able to retire. But is that really the goal? And we're going to get into respecting. So all of this has a lot to do with time, and we're going to get into that. But what people are realizing is that their lives are extremely important, and a lot of people are trying to recoup their time, their energy, and their money because they've wasted it. They either wasted it, or things happen to them in life, or they can't get over the hump or out of the rat race and what we call in this world, right? So we have younger folks saying, okay, well, what is the quickest way that I could um, increase the value of my assets? And the most assured way, yes, is a 401k or get into stocks and bonds, or maybe even possibly gold. But gold is pretty much it's really stable. It's gone up a little bit, but really stable. And along comes Bitcoin, and Bitcoin solves a lot of the issues and problems that has occurred with fiat currency, to include just solely with the fact that it has a value, or I should say the number of coins or is only going to be 21 million to be exact. The reason why I'm talking about this is because this is going to play a bigger role in what I feel is about to come, and I think we're hitting ahead. Now we're going to get into the negatives of Bitcoin, in which I think is going to happen, and I'm gonna go into cryptocurrencies as well. So with Bitcoin, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that um, all of these institutions, banks are getting into it. They're all buying. We just had, they have in the U.S. stablecoin. Oh, and by the way, if you guys haven't recognized or don't know yet, Binance US is now open for USDT, meaning that you can connect your credit card or your charge card or whatever to Binance US. I remember, I had to leave Binance US. I had to take all of my coins out of Binance because I was with the original Binance. And when they left America, we didn't have anywhere to put our crypto. And that's how we kind of educated ourselves about ledgers and other exchanges that are not in America, that would take our money and allow us to purchase, X coin. Well, things are things are getting big. Things are coming to a head with Bitcoin, as far as it's really, really becoming not only just popular, but showing that it is a true store of value. Now, it doesn't work as a medium of exchange, a unit of account. It's terrible. But as far as the store of value, which I mentioned this a long time ago, and I made a video out of it, it's just talking about Bitcoin being a store of value. So if you hold Bitcoin, you are going to be G2G, as people would say. Now, um, what's happening is all of these institutions are buying, and then they're gonna, once they buy all of it, they're going to, the narrative, because right now the narrative is split, right? You got people, oh man, Bitcoin's the future. You got, it's not really split. Like I think they said only 5% of people in the world owns Bitcoin. Half of those are in America. So, but we've gotten to a point to where they are starting to really accumulate all of the Bitcoin, and then once regulations come out, they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to take Bitcoin, or different cryptocurrencies. And specifically, I want to talk about Bitcoin for a split second, because I don't want people to think that, like, oh man, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do realize that in order to survive in this world, you're going to have to be able to adapt. And right now, the the thing that I feel is better than fiat currency is Bitcoin. Maybe not to, trade, or excuse me, not trade, but you guys know I don't do trading, but maybe not to, for a unit of exchange. I don't know who the hell is buying things with Bitcoin. I wouldn't. I'm not giving up my Bitcoin. I'm just gonna, if I buy Bitcoin, I'm just gonna keep Bitcoin. Which most of you guys know I don't have a lot of Bitcoin, at all. Like very little. I'm pretty sure there are people on the streets that have more Bitcoin than I do. But the point is that institutions are going to start allowing, those of us here in the U.S. and other places to say, okay, well, we're going to start accepting Bitcoin, and we're going to start using Bitcoin, as a store of value and recommended in people's portfolios. Now, what's going to happen right now? Our fiat currency and the way it's set up is um, the top 1, 2, 3% own everything, right? We don't own hardly anything. A lot of us, our energy, and we're going to get into time, our time and energy are so focused on just trying to survive 40, 50 hours a week working, attempting to survive and attempting to save up for either a house or things that honestly it just keeps us in the ground. It keeps us on the hamster wheel. So we're not only is the system set up to where we cannot save money, but we mentally and philosophically, we have been wasting and spending money to where we can't even use the funds efficiently in from a financial standpoint in order for us to reach our goals. So that's a problem. But that's how the world works, and that's just how it's going to be. I'm sorry for many of you guys who maybe you hate Bitcoin, but right now Bitcoin is better than fiat currency, and until there's something else, and I'll say this one more time, until there's something else that can prove that it can work more efficiently than Bitcoin that's run on a blockchain, then that's gonna be it. And we may hate it. We may say, "Oh, well, this is bull." This is not a kids channel, by the way, but this is bullshit. Take a look at what's happening in our society, what's happening in our world, what's happening with fiat currency, and they're just printing money out of the wazoo just because they can. And guess what? While they're printing all of the money, they're making us work for it, or they're making in here in the United States, they're making us work for it for pennies. Like, so literally, I'm not going to get into that's called because I'm actually afraid to say the name. Not like really afraid, but don't want to get into that rabbit hole because it's a whole new rabbit hole. So what do we have here? We have a shift from fiat currency over to Bitcoin. And there's even going to be another shift, but how long that shift takes, it depends on what happens in the world, right? And so right now, as I've stated before, I've stated this on X. We're going to get to a point to where we're going to get into universal basic income. Well, that's not going to work. Bitcoin is not going to be able to work with universal basic income. Why? Because there's going to be too many transactions, too many things happening all at once, and it's going to be very, very difficult for UBI to take place. Now, I know many of you are like, "Oh man, universal basic income is not going to come." Trust me, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in my lifetime too. By the way, that's not even a joke. But what happens after that? I don't know if that's going. What I mean by what happens after universal basic income and the tools that are actually used with basic UBI, I don't know what technology is going to be used. If I had a guess, if I had the best guess ever, I would say it would be XRP. That's my best guess. Why? Because XRP could not only allow many transactions, but it could scale not across, it could scale in its system, right? So I believe that a lot of places because they're going to get into this whole stablecoin stuff. Okay. But they're going to get to a point to where XRP, okay, well, you're in this country, you're in that country, you're going to run on this or you're going to run on that, and it's all going to be connected to XRP. That's one of the reasons why I think it's going to be huge. XRP is going to be huge. Now, does blockchain scale enough for that? I don't think blockchain scales enough for that. So now what is the next thing, right? And obviously some of us are Hashgraph fans. Some of us are Holochain fans. Some of us are, I believe, what is it called, Tangled or something like that. There are different DLTs out there that can actually solve the problem of scalability, but which one is going to make it? And here's where I'm going to talk about time. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know. And to be fair, when that happens, that's going to be 15, 20 years down the road. So we're going to have a big shift from fiat currency over to cryptocurrency, mostly Bitcoin. And for me, I have to make the best decision in order to survive in this world. We may hate fiat currency, but I'm sorry, I can't I don't know, cut up a piece of plastic or a bunch of pieces of paper and say this is my new money. Give me a brand new, I don't know, give me a brand new house for this piece of paper. They're gonna be like, this is worthless. You want a house for it? It doesn't make any sense, right? And so the monetary system is going to break down in our lifetime, especially in the United States. That system is going to break down, but it's going to break down differently. It's not just going to just fall apart. It's going to dwindle down. The value of it's going to dwindle down. And this is where we're talking about time. That's going to take some time, people. And so the reason why a lot of people who are understanding what's happening in the world are getting into Bitcoin specifically is because of the fact that whatever solution's out there, Bitcoin is the closest to have that solution as a store of value and to maintain value, because a lot of people have wasted their time and their energy for so long only to get nothing back. If you have your energy, and I call fiat or any kind of monetary system, if you have energy because you've done something to earn it, and you have enough of it, you're going to save it, and you can take that energy and you can let it grow, because that's exactly what will happen. It's just only been 15, 16 years for Bitcoin, and you see how much it has grown. So that is the most proven one. If I had to, I'll still be around hopefully in 16 years. But in 16 years, that sounds tremendously wonderful for a lot of people, especially younger people. Like, wait, so I have to purchase something. If I purchase this in 16 years, it's going to become X, Y, and Z. That's wonderful. That's great. That's an excellent store of value, right? And that's what we're looking at. And then everyone else who is talking about, oh, well, we have this type of currency system. And, you guys know I'm talking about mutual credit currencies and all of these different things. I'm sorry, but these are things that unless you have a plan, unless you have a system, unless you have a philosophy that you're able to be able to translate and positively persuade people, say, hey, you know what, this is a great system, but what about this system? And it's so hard, right? It's so hard to overthrow a system, especially when there are some people who they don't want to give up that power. They don't want to give up their assets, their houses, their boats, their cars, all of these things that they get on a yearly basis. They buy these things because they make so much money, and they are part of this system in which they're like, hey, I don't want to give that up. So how do you make that happen? You make that happen by actually creating a positive atmosphere and positive solutions to actual real world problems in order for you to get to that next level. And that's one of the things that a lot of these projects out there, especially in the cryptocurrency space, they're promising a lot. They haven't really delivered much. And this has been 8-9 years for some of them. I remember what was one, they're still around, but there are a lot of people talking about Chainlink and talking about all of very many different no, I think Chainlink is fairly new as far as I'm concerned. Man, what was one of them? Man, my brain is my brain is almost at full capacity because I've just been talking so much. By the way, you guys, if you're new listening to this, I don't plan these videos. I don't have pieces of paper. Might be better for your ears if I edited all of the times that I said and what. But this is just me, a normal guy, just talking about cryptocurrency and where I think the world is going to go, and that's why I call it the crypto truth. At where I give you the truth as I see it. So we're having this monetary system. I'm gonna say it one last time. We're having this monetary system that's switching over from fiat currency over to Bitcoin. And now what's gonna happen once everything is in Bitcoin? What's gonna happen is there's gonna be a divergence, right? There's gonna be people who have gotten into crypto, and I'm gonna say crypto as a whole. And when a bull run happens, or when Bitcoin reaches sky limits, they are going to cash out, and they're going to be like, well, great, I can now buy a house, I can now buy some items and get out of this rat race, and now I can retire or never have to work again. Well, a lot of people are going to get left behind. Again, I'm going to say this again, a lot of people are going to get left behind, and that's why I think that UBI is going to take place, because we continue to get into this system, which is a capitalistic system. I'm not going to talk about whether, because it's not the best system, but it's the best of what we got right now. Understanding that, hey, there are going to be more losers than winners. When there's a bull run that happens and people are purchasing a certain token, a lot of people who are at the top are going to cash out, and other people are going to be holding the bag. And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, that's the greater fool theory and that's terrible and all of that kind of stuff, because that is how our system has been working for ages. You look at the stock market, you look at anything else, that's how it works. So unless you're going to change the entire system, you might as well get used to this system, because it's not going anywhere anytime soon unless something major happens. Even a couple of black swan events is only going to make the matter worse, actually, to be honest with you. So we're looking at a situation in which, if you're into crypto right now, you make sure you take profits, you make sure you're able to live, and have a game plan of where and how you want to spend your money. I am not a huge fan of being greedy. I'm the type of guy, if and when I make $1 million or a couple $1 million, even just $500,000, I'm the type of guy, I just want to be able to live and survive and be able to do simple things. No, I never owned a jet ski. I never had friends that owned a jet ski. Four-wheelers, I've never been on a four-wheeler. I never had friends that had, four-wheelers, or people who had a lot of money. I just haven't. I haven't been around money. I grew up poor. I grew up with not a lot of money. I grew up with a family that was working poor. And so I totally understand, not only just grew up, but worked in it, somewhat still is, understanding that your time has value. And what is that value for your time, right? And that's what people are chasing. People are not chasing this makes sense for 30 or 40 years in the future, or we can there a lot of people, most people are just trying to claim their lives back. They're trying to gain some kind of autonomy, get out of the system. That's what they're trying to do. So I don't really blame people for wanting to get rich from cryptocurrency, because they've been in the race for so long. In order to get out, you don't have to be rich. You got debts to be paid. You got some people. Now, obviously, there are people who they want to buy Lambos and they want to buy fancy boats and all this kind of stuff. They can have it. They can go to all of these parties. No, for me, I'm disappearing off the face of the earth. I've already told my friends, if if I'm a multimillionaire, and that's I don't even have to be a multimillionaire. I can just be a millionaire. I'm disappearing. Just $1 million is all I need, and I'm out. I'm gone. I can live a very comfortable life off of $1 million by putting my money putting my money in stable assets and letting those grow, and then living comfortably, not going out to eat all the time, cooking for myself, playing things like sports, basketball and pickleball and different things that don't cost a lot of money, having great hobbies. Um, and yeah, I might get selfish and buy myself a hot tub. But my point is that you don't need to be greedy in this cycle, because the cycle is not over with yet. And I don't think it's going to be over with this year. I think it's going to run into either December or January. But I don't know these things. Like every single time I've tried to say, when something is going to happen, I've been wrong. Everybody's been wrong. Um, so, but anyway, I just want to give you guys a heads up and kind of give you guys some food for thought as far as what you plan on doing with your money and how you're planning on getting out of the system. No, me personally, I am not out of the system, but uh, hopefully in time I will be. Right? That's the goal. That's the wish. Excuse me, you guys. And so, at least my neck isn't hurting this time. But but anyway, yeah. So I'm super excited about this cycle. I'm not excited about, a lot of projects make me extremely nervous. But there are a lot of projects out there that there's actually a couple projects that I'm like, okay, we're good to go, and I just have to wait. And I have full confidence that they're going to create solutions. Others, I don't really have that confidence. And it is what it is. So, anyway, you guys, please, as I always say, and I say this with all sincerity, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. Um, and while I know people may do bad research, at least you have done research to where you can accept the consequences or benefits of all of your actions, right? So if you're into crypto, if you hate crypto, but you did your research and you're like, I still hate crypto, I'm not going to do it. And, crypto pops off, or, people become multimillionaires from, simple couple $1,000s of what they invested. You're going to have to live with that. Same thing if the opposite happens. You're going to have to live with that. So we all have our lives. We all have things we have to. I'm so sorry, you guys. I have zero clue why every time I make a damn video, like I'm got shoulder hurting, I'm yawning, which I don't even understand why. I got plenty of sleep. At least I thought I did. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Again, do your research, do your research, do your research. Last but not least, this world is absolutely crazy out there. Please, above all else, keep a level head and stay safe out there. Okay, you guys. It's been great. It's been great making these videos for just education purposes. I do hope education and entertainment purposes. I do hope that in the future we all, especially all of my subscribers, that we all can just hang back, maybe meet up one day, have a cup of coffee, and say, "Hey, you remember that time?" And kind of laugh, because we know our situation is much better now. So, anyways, you guys, please. It's been a long time. I've been making videos for a while now, and I'm really surprised that many of you are still here. So if you're still here, I really do appreciate it. And but please, by all means, I love the open communication. I will be making more. I say this every time, but I really truly make it because my computer is now set up. So now I can start doing what I used to do, start going over some stories and start getting into the nuts and bolts of what's happening in more detail, because I can't remember all this stuff off the top of my head. But anyway, you guys take it easy, okay? Bye.